Everything spirals after Christine Duff is accused of something she didn't do, but the moment the truth cracks open, it refuses to stay hidden. What happens when you underestimate someone who's used to being doubted? Let us know in the comments section below. Christine's heels clicked with a kind of rhythm that made heads turn, but didn't ask for attention. She didn't need to. The way she moved, measured, quiet but precise, spoke for her. Her dark navy slacks were pressed to a knife edge, her blouse soft but crisp, her black curls pulled into a low, elegant twist that revealed the nape of her neck and a pair of pearl studs. No designer logo splashed across her chest, no loud colors, just presence. Quiet power. She stepped through the glass doors of a Laura boutique known for minimalist high fashion and maximum price tags, and let her eyes sweep over the familiar space. Everything looked the same, from the smooth marble floors to the rows of immaculately arranged displays. But Christine knew better. Places like this could look flawless on the outside and still rot at the root. From behind the register, Mariah Ellis watched her. The kind of look that wasn't about style or envy, but suspicion dressed in lipstick. Mariah's blonde bob didn't move as she tilted her head, but her hand stilled above the tablet register. She didn't recognize Christine, not with her guard up. Christine didn't flinch, didn't even blink. She drifted to a display of handbags, her fingers brushing the soft grain leather of a taupe crossbody. It was one of the pieces she'd approved last season. Light, compact, modern, but with structure, like her. Mariah finally spoke, just loud enough to be heard across the quiet room. "Can I help you find something today?" The smile on her face didn't reach her eyes. Her tone teetered between customer service and caution. Christine noted it immediately. So did the young black woman folding silk scarves near the changing room. Tasha, if Christine remembered right. Tasha's hand froze mid-fold, eyes darting between the two women. Christine turned to Mariah with a patient smile. "Just browsing." Mariah stepped out from behind the counter. "Of course," she said. "We've had a few issues with shoplifters lately, so we're trying to keep a closer eye on things." The sentence floated out with too much ease, like it had been rehearsed for certain customers. Christine didn't respond. Not yet. Her eyes traveled back to the handbag, tracing the stitch. Her silence was her answer. And yet, within seconds, Trent Murphy, the store's head of security, appeared near the entrance. He was bulky in the way gym bodies get when they're built on ego more than endurance. Black polo stretched tight across his arms. His eyes scanned Christine in a way that wasn't searching for danger, just confirming the one he thought he already saw. Christine met his gaze. She didn't lower hers. "You need something?" she asked him calmly. "No, ma'am," Trent replied, but his body didn't relax. "Just making my rounds." Behind them, the door chimed again. Two white women walked in, laughing over something in a phone. Not a glance from Trent, no welcome from Mariah. They moved freely, unbothered. Christine exhaled softly through her nose. She turned to Tasha, who was now hurriedly straightening the scarves like she wasn't watching. "Do you have this in navy?" Christine asked her, holding up the taupe bag. Tasha blinked, nodded. "Yes, I believe we do, in the back. I can check." "Thank you." As Tasha disappeared behind the curtains, Mariah stepped closer. "I don't believe we've seen you here before," she said. Christine raised an eyebrow. "Should that be a problem?" "No, of course not," Mariah chuckled, backpedaling, but the tension stuck like perfume. "We just like to know our regulars. It's a tight-knit clientele." Christine set the bag down. "That so?" Mariah's smile twitched. Across the boutique, Trent shifted his stance again. His hand hovered near his walkie, the gesture too obvious to miss. Christine noticed. Every second of it. Tasha returned with the navy bag and placed it delicately in Christine's hands. It's lovely, she said, almost like an apology. It is, Christine agreed. She didn't look at the bag anymore. She looked at Mariah, then Trent, then the register, and finally she turned to the full-length mirror near the wall. She lifted the bag onto her shoulder, tilting her head slightly, seeing how it looked, not just on her body, but on her. A black woman, in an expensive store. She turned to Mariah again, her voice smooth. I'll take it. There was hesitation in Mariah's eyes, a flicker of uncertainty. Christine could feel it. And that's when it happened. Trent stepped forward. Before we ring that up, he said, voice louder now, I'm going to need to check your bag. Christine froze. Not because she was afraid, but because it was already happening. The accusation, the presumption, and all of it so publicly. Behind them, the two white women stopped laughing. Customers turned. Tasha's lips parted, but she said nothing. Excuse me, Christine said. It's routine, Trent replied. We've had thefts. Just need to make sure everything's in order. Mariah didn't stop him. Christine looked from one to the other. Are you asking everyone in here for a bag check? Silence. Christine reached into her blazer pocket and pulled out a slim wallet. She unfolded it slowly. Then she held up a small laminated card. A name, a title, a logo. In Lawrence. Co-founder Christine Duff. Mariah's face went pale. Trent blinked, his confidence starting to crack. Christine lowered her arms slowly. Her voice was softer now, but with the kind of edge that could slice glass. I helped build this boutique from scratch, she said. From every stitch to every tile on this floor. The silence inside the store was almost sacred. I walked in here today as a customer, she continued. But you made sure I couldn't just be that, didn't you? Neither of them answered. Christine took the navy bag off her shoulder, walked to the register, and laid it gently on the counter. I won't be buying this today, she said, but we are going to talk. She pulled out her phone and pressed record. Mariah's tongue darted across her bottom lip as Christine's phone glared up at her like a spotlight. The recording app was open, bright red circle blinking. Trent took a half step back, suddenly unsure if his badge stitched to his chest still meant anything. Christine didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. The weight of her silence, the calm that came before something powerful, was louder than yelling ever could be. I want to hear, Christine said, her phone steady in her palm, exactly why you thought I needed to be searched. Mariah opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. It was a misunderstanding, she stammered, her voice cracking on the last word. We've just had incidents in the past, and we thought it would be best to humiliate me, Christine interrupted gently. To accuse me without evidence? Or to make sure I remembered who you thought I was the moment I walked through that door? Behind them, the boutique had fallen into a hushed stillness. The two white customers stood frozen by the jewelry case, unsure whether to sneak out or pretend to browse. Tasha, still holding a folded scarf, didn't move an inch. Trent folded his arms over his chest again, trying to look like the authority in the room. You can't record people without permission, he said, grasping at something, anything, to hold on to. Actually, I can, Christine replied without even turning to him. This is a single-party consent state. As long as I'm a part of the conversation, it's legal. The man flinched, then glanced at Mariah, who gave him nothing back. You saw a black woman in your store, Christine continued, eyes fixed on Mariah now, and decided I didn't belong. You created a narrative of theft, of suspicion, that had nothing to do with my actions and everything to do with my appearance. Mariah shook her head frantically. No, I didn't mean it like that. Christine tilted her head. Then say what you meant. Go on. The camera's still rolling. Tasha took a breath, a big one. She put the scarf down and took a careful step forward. "Miss Duff," she began. Christine glanced at her, and Tasha's voice faltered. But Christine nodded. Tasha swallowed and shifted her weight. "I knew who you were when you walked in," she said, eyes flicking toward Mariah. "I've seen the company newsletter, the founder's profile. I didn't say anything because I didn't think it was my place." Mariah spun toward her. "You knew?" Tasha nodded slowly. "I did." Mariah's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Christine watched it all, took it in, like a ledger. Every face, every moment, every silence. "You were so quick to assume the worst," she said, looking back at Mariah and Trent. "You didn't ask questions. You didn't treat me like a person. You treated me like a threat." Trent stiffened again, but he didn't speak. "You made me a spectacle," Christine added, "and now I'm going to return the favor." She tapped a few times on her screen and uploaded the footage to her shared drive. A second copy was now secure, protected, untouchable. Mariah's hand trembled slightly. "We can fix this," she said, desperate now. "Please, Miss Duff. We can talk privately. I can explain." Christine laughed, softly, like a parent hearing a child lie about breaking a vase. "Privately?" she echoed. "You didn't mind making it public when you accused me." Mariah looked ready to cry. "Please, this isn't what it looks like." Christine finally stepped closer, close enough for Mariah to smell the subtle rose and sandalwood perfume Christine always wore. The scent of control, of elegance earned. "You know what's wild?" Christine said, her voice almost kind. "I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I walked in this morning planning to observe, maybe even give feedback to corporate later, privately. You had no idea you were being watched by the very person you were trying to police." Mariah's voice dropped to a whisper. "I made a mistake." "You made a choice," Christine corrected her. At that moment, the front door swung open again. A man in his 20s, holding his phone mid-air and recording, stepped in. "Yo, this the place," he whispered to someone behind him. Another person followed him in, then two more. Naomi Whitaker. Christine recognized her instantly. The local influencer had once posted a glowing review of Elora's diversity pledge, praising their support of Black-owned brands. Christine hadn't met her in person, but she knew the reach she had online. Naomi didn't say anything at first. She just pointed her phone at Christine, then panned it toward Mariah and Trent. Trent lifted his hand like he could stop a flood. "You can't record in here." Naomi smiled. "We're already live." Mariah looked like she might faint. "I didn't authorize this," she said, her voice rising. "This is harassment." "No," Naomi said calmly, still filming. "Harassment is accusing a woman of stealing with zero proof. Harassment is weaponizing policy against a customer who was minding her business. This is documentation." Christine let the moment hang there. Then, quietly, she walked to the center of the store. "This store was built on a vision of equity," she said, her voice steady now, no need for dramatics. "Of giving people space to feel seen, respected, and safe. That vision has clearly been lost in translation here." She turned to Trent. "You're suspended effective immediately." He blinked. "Well, I'll have HR confirm it within the hour. Until then, you can wait in the back room or leave." He stared at her, mouth moving, but no words came. Finally, he turned and stalked to the back of the store. Christine turned to Mariah. "You and I will be having a different conversation, in an office, with legal present." Mariah nodded slowly, face pale. "As Duff." "Christine," she said. Mariah tried to smile. "I'm sorry, Christine. I really am." Christine said nothing. Instead, she turned to the small group gathering near the doorway, Naomi's stream still going. She looked into the lens and said, This is what it looks like when people get too comfortable making assumptions. This is what it looks like when they forget that black women build, lead, and own. And this is what it looks like when the mask slips. Then she lowered her hand. The video had done its work. She turned to Tasha and said gently, "You okay?" Tasha nodded. "Thank you." Christine gave her a small smile. "You don't owe me thanks. You owed yourself honesty." The boutique was quiet again, but this time it didn't feel suffocating. It felt like something had shifted. Air cleared, scales tipped, walls cracked. Christine walked past the display again, pausing only once. She ran her fingers across the leather bag. The navy one. Then she kept walking. Toward the back office, toward the deeper conversation, toward the accountability she demanded and deserved. Christine stared at her inbox, each email blinking like a flare, subject lines screaming for her attention. Urgent, press inquiry, Channel 7. Elora incident, corporate response needed. Customer testimonial. Thank you for speaking out. Request for interview, speak truth, podcast. There were hundreds, maybe more. It hadn't even been 24 hours. Her phone buzzed against her desk for the third time in 5 minutes. She ignored it. The calls could wait. The reporters could wait. Even the congratulatory texts from people she hadn't heard from since college could wait. What couldn't wait was her breath. It sat tight in her chest, like it needed permission to release. The video had gone viral. Not just Naomi's livestream, which crossed 1 million views by sunrise, but Christine's own clipped footage, the moment she calmly revealed her title, the second Trent asked to search her bag, the exact expression on Mariah's face when she realized the woman she tried to shame was the one who signed her checks. The internet had eaten it up. Twitter threads, TikTok stitches, reaction videos with titles like, "This Karen tried the wrong one," and "How it feels to be Christine Duff right now." Some turned it into a meme, some made it gospel. And Christine, she just wanted a moment of stillness. She got up and walked toward the office window, looking out over the city skyline. Elora's headquarters sat on the 27th floor of a downtown high-rise, clean glass walls and sleek gray decor. Christine had helped design the layout. She wanted it open, transparent, like the company was supposed to be. Behind her, Jessica Lynn stood watching. "You slept?" Jessica asked, folding her arms. Christine exhaled through her nose. "If I say yes, I'm lying." Jessica didn't look surprised. "I've already spoken to legal," she said. "They've started the internal review." Christine turned to her. "Good. Also," Jessica continued, "Trent officially resigned this morning. I'm guessing it was either that or face formal investigation." Christine nodded slowly. "He should have faced it." "I know." "And Mariah?" Jessica hesitated. "She's lawyered up," she said. "HR placed her on leave pending disciplinary action, but she's already doing her damage control, posting Bible verses and vague apologies on her Facebook. You know the routine." Christine scoffed softly. "She really thinks a verse is going to wipe this away?" Jessica shook her head. "She thinks if she cries loud enough, people will forget she started the fire." They stood in silence for a moment. Christine turned back to the window. "I didn't want to be a symbol, Jess. I know. I didn't wake up yesterday thinking, let's go viral today, let's become a trending hashtag. I just wanted to buy a bag." Jessica smiled gently. "And now people want to buy 1,000. Sales at Elora had doubled overnight, but not for the reasons they wanted. Christine knew it, so did Jessica. It wasn't about the product. It was about the moment, the movement, the firestorm of accountability the footage lit up. And it wasn't just Elora. Other black women were coming forward, posting their own stories of being watched, followed, accused, silenced. Shopping while black was trending again. But this time it had a face. Christine's. "I read your draft," Jessica said, reaching into her folder and holding out a single-page press release. And Christine took it, but didn't read it right away. "I just want to speak plainly," she murmured. "You can, but carefully. People want truth, but they'll still weaponize it." Christine finally scanned the draft. Her name was at the top. A statement on behalf of Elora. Words like commitment to equity and zero tolerance for racial profiling sprinkled across the page like crumbs. She handed it back. "It's fine," she said. "Release it." Jessica raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" Christine's voice didn't waver. "I am." Jessica nodded and stepped out of the office. Christine sat back down and opened her laptop again. This time, she didn't check her inbox. She opened Instagram. Her DMs were a flood of strangers, some praising, some venting, some asking for interviews, others demanding that she start a movement. One message caught her eye, from a woman named Angela Bryce. "Is Duff, I watched what happened. I cried. I work at a store where this happens every week. Thank you for not backing down. My daughter saw your video. She said she wants to be like you." Christine sat with that one. It didn't feel like flattery. It felt like weight. Her phone rang again. This time, she answered. "Christine Duff," she said. "Mrs. Duff, this is Malik Parker from the Black Business Empowerment Forum. I just wanted to say, we saw what happened and we're organizing a panel around racial bias in retail. We'd be honored if you'd speak." Christine leaned back in her chair. "Let me think about it," she said. "Of course. We'll follow up, and thank you. That video, it's changing things." She hung up without saying more. Her mind spun. It wasn't just about a boutique anymore. It wasn't about Mariah. Or even Trent. It was about how quick the world is to put black people in boxes. And how loud that world gets when you climb out of them. She pulled up her notes app, typed a single line. What happens when the only way to be seen is to make people uncomfortable? She didn't know yet if she wanted to answer that. Just then a knock came at the office door. Sasha peeked in, nervous. "Stuff? I'm sorry to interrupt. May I?" Christine nodded. "Come in." Tasha stepped forward, wringing her hands. "I just wanted to say thank you again. I was scared yesterday. I froze. I shouldn't have, but I did." Christine looked at her. Really looked. "You were in survival mode," she said. "I don't fault you for that." Tasha's eyes welled up. "Still, you didn't have to do what you did, but you did, and it gave me permission. You gave me something to stand on." Christine nodded, emotion creeping into her throat. "Then make it count," she said. "Not just today, but every time you're in the room and someone's being treated like less." Tasha wiped her cheek. "I will." After she left, Christine sat back and closed her laptop. She stared at the blank wall opposite her desk. She knew what was coming. Think pieces, news cycles, apologies, and angry rebuttals. There would be allies, and there would be backlash. But something had already shifted. And there was no going back. 2 weeks later, Christine stood beneath the glow of the boutique's newly installed pendant lights, soft golden halos warming the space. The air smelled faintly of jasmine and leather, and the usual background playlist of ambient jazz had been swapped out for something slower, something richer, a soulful piano loop that felt like calm after a long, thunderous storm. The boutique looked different now, not in its design, but in its energy. Customers walked in a little more aware. Staff moved with clearer purpose. Conversations were slower, eyes more open. No more silent judgments tucked behind folded scarves. No more discomfort posing as professionalism. Christine adjusted a vase of fresh peonies on a central display table, an old habit she never gave up. She could have left this detail to someone else, But today she wanted her hands on something beautiful, something real. "Ms. Duff," said a voice gently from behind her. She turned to see Tasha, holding a tablet. Her face carried a nervous hopefulness. "It's time," Tasha said, her smile blooming. Christine nodded, set the vase down, and followed her toward the front of the boutique. Outside the glass doors, a crowd had gathered. Community members, press, local activists, familiar customers, and strangers who had seen a clip online and wanted to show up. There were kids holding signs, women in suits, a few elderly folks with canes and folded lawn chairs, and, to her surprise, a school choir in matching black tees, huddled off to the side with sheet music in their hands. Jessica met her at the door. "You ready?" Christine smirked. "Not even close." "Perfect," Jessica said. "Let's go." They pushed open the doors and stepped onto the small, makeshift platform just outside the boutique entrance. A mic had been set up. Naomi was already standing nearby with her camera raised, streaming to thousands again. The noise from the crowd settled as Christine stepped forward. She let the silence settle before speaking. "2 weeks ago," she said, "I walked into this store as a customer. I left as a headline." Soft chuckles rippled through the crowd. Christine's smile didn't waver. "I wasn't angry that I was recognized," she continued. "I was angry that I wasn't. I co-founded this brand to give women like me a place to be seen, to be heard, and to be welcomed. But even here, within my own creation, bias still found its way in. And that's the thing about racism. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for you to finish your sentence." Heads nodded. A few people clapped. One person in the back shouted, "Say that again!" Christine paused, then held up a small card. "This," she said, "is the new code of ethics we're implementing at all Elora locations. Written by our team, by our community, and by the voices that reached out to us over these past 2 weeks. It's not just a PR bandage. It's a framework for accountability." More claps now, the sound building. "And this," she added, reaching into her coat pocket and pulling out a folded piece of paper, "is a letter from Mariah Ellis, publicly acknowledging her actions, accepting responsibility, and stepping down from her position effective immediately." A few gasps echoed. Then applause. Christine looked out over the crowd. "This moment isn't just about me," she said. "It's about all of us. The ones who get followed around stores, the ones who get told they don't belong in boardrooms or boutiques, the ones who swallow their anger because speaking up costs too much. I had the privilege of being able to speak and to be heard, but many don't. That ends here." The choir behind her shuffled, the soft clink of metal music stands and feet adjusting in gravel. Christine turned slightly and nodded to them. A young girl at the front lifted her chin and began to sing. The others followed, harmonizing beautifully, their voices rising like a sunrise. It wasn't a protest song, it wasn't angry. It was "a change is gonna come." By the time the second verse rolled in, people were wiping their eyes. Christine felt Jessica's hand on her back, grounding her. She blinked at the sky, blinking away the sharpness behind her eyes. When the song ended, there was a beat of silence, a moment of weightlessness. Then thunderous applause. And Christine smiled. Not the polite kind, not the corporate kind, the real kind. The kind that came from somewhere deep in her chest. Later that afternoon, back inside the boutique, the space buzzed with a steady stream of shoppers. Not gawkers, not people seeking a photo op, just people. Tasha rang up purchases confidently, her new name tag now reading Assistant Manager. Jessica reviewed contracts at a back table. Naomi chatted with a woman near the fitting rooms, her live stream long over, but her impact still rippling. Christine stood by the entrance, watching it all unfold. It was Duff. She turned. A girl, maybe 11, stood nervously in front of her, clutching a small purse. "Hi," the girl said. "My name's Kiara. I saw your video. My mom said you're a boss. Christine knelt down so they were eye level. She's right, Christine said. But not just because I run a business. Then why? Christine leaned in, her voice soft but strong. Because I never let anybody else tell me who I was. Yara grinned. I want to be like that. You already are, Christine said. Yara gave her a quick hug, then darted back to her mother. Christine stood slowly and watched them leave. The door chimed behind them like punctuation. Later, as the crowd thinned and the sun dipped low, she made her way back to her office. She sat at her desk and opened her laptop. The email tab blinked again. She ignored it. Instead, she opened a new document. Elora, Community Scholarship Proposal. She typed the first sentence. This scholarship is dedicated to young women of color with vision, voice, and the audacity to walk into any room like they belong there. Because they do. She saved the file, leaned back, closed her eyes. And for the first time in a long while, Christine Duff exhaled fully. She had turned fire into foundation. And the world was watching, but this time it was listening, too.